I live in central Canada, province called Ontario. It's a land where you can find a lot of space. And for me, that space is really important. The ability to be in a place which is full of the natural world is really, really important. That's where I find my muse. That's where I find the inspiration to do the work that I do. I work with glass, I work with hot glass, but I make sculpture. So I use other materials as well. I've been working in software development after finishing university, and I felt like it was a place where, at the end of the day, I'd look at my hands and it's like, what have I done? What have I done today? And it felt like there was really nothing. I mean, I know I was working, but it's not a sense of materiality, and I was missing that. I didn't know it. So I went to Sheridan to study furniture, and you're able to take another studio. So I went to glass as a second studio, and there's hot glass, and when you see a material like that that's alive, that moves in the heat, it's an incredibly powerful thing, and it totally captivated me and a number of other people. The thing that I wanted to try and express initially with this idea of the mirrored canoe is an experience that I've had on a number of occasions. And it's taking my own canoe out at night on a calm, still night, no wind. There's a little lake that I paddle on. The moon is not up. It's clear sky. And the stars in the sky are intense. There's just so many. The Milky Way streams across. And when you're out in a canoe and the water is that calm and it's that dark, the stars are reflected in the water. So you end up sliding across the water, and it feels like you're floating in the air, that the experience is in the stars. It's as close to flying without flying that I can ever imagine. Effortless, almost effortless. It's so peaceful. The mirrored canoe comes from that place. That's where it starts. Mirroring the interior came later. That's another experience. And that, now that that's been done, when the canoe is empty and you are paddling that canoe, in the daylight, you're pulling the sky into the boat, and those ribs are showing because it's mirrored between the ribs of this old cedar strip canoe. And so you have the sensation that you are paddling in the sky. And so it starts to connect up and snowball into this idea of, well, what if I take this mirrored canoe, which has got this map of the place that I live on the outside, my experience, my world, and then take it and paddle it in a place that I really don't know that well. What happens then? What do I get to experience? What does that give? the shipping that I saw on the northern part of this experience of paddling from Lommel to Leerdam, there was big traffic and some really big traffic on the wall. But the Dommel was, I don't know, that was like home in some ways. It's different, but yet it's quiet. And, you really are in this natural world. It changes up because there's so many towns, villages along that. And then you'll hit a little bit of industry of some kind. But some of it was just exquisitely beautiful. For me, the connection to the natural world is really, really important. Understanding that we are part of the natural world. We aren't separate from it. It's not us and the wild, us and nature, us and the rest of the world. We are nature. We are part of nature. We are just one element within that. How do we have that experience as people? If you're living in an urban environment, in a man-made environment, there's this tendency to separate ourselves from that world. And the only really true experiences we have of the natural world is birth and death. Those experiences tie us to the natural world. But there's also just the connection that we have as people when we meet, when we connect with somebody, when we see them and they see us, and there's an acknowledgement. And when I was on the Afghan Maas and that military helicopter went over like 10 meters off the water, maybe 10 meters away from me, and he roared up the river, and I was going around, there's a big curve, and he banked around me, and I looked up, and he waved, and he looked at me long enough that I could wave back, and I knew he saw me. And even though he's in this insane machine, which has so many disturbing connotations, there was a moment of connection. It was an amazing thing. And that happened minutes after watching two enormous white swans fly towards me and lift themselves off the water, pumping their wings so hard you could hear the wind moving through the wings. And they were trying to move away from me. They wanted to get away from me because, we don't have the best of relationships, us and the wildlife. Yeah, I was pretty emotionally traumatized at the moment that happened. I mean, it was an emotional day to begin with, just a beautiful sunrise and calm and on the water on this incredible beach. God, who knew that there were beaches in the Netherlands on these rivers that look like they're tropical? I'm privileged to live in a place where there is so much space. It's not unheard of and not something that seems foreign to me to have a black bear come onto the deck of the house because I forgot to take the bird feeder down and they're hungry, and so you have a bear comes on your deck, or deer are in your yard, or moose come through your yard. These are all experiences I've had. You know, it is isolated. You are in some ways very alone, but yet not. My experience in Canada has always been, you know, you want to get alone, you want to be away, you know, the experience of the wild. But even when you do that, you know, if there's somebody else that's out there paddling, out there doing a similar kind of thing, there's a moment of connection. But here there's more of that happens because there are more people here. And it wasn't disturbing. I feel blessed by what this has given me. Yeah. It's been an amazing thing.